There you go. There you go. All right. Welcome,
Good
welcome.
afternoon. I'm Bishop Bernadette Jefferson, and I am here with Democracy Defense.
And I am Claire McClinton with Democracy Defense League.
And we're here today to talk about the water crisis 10 years later. And how far have we made it? Where are we at today? Where are you at from 2014 to today? We have some commemoration events that we want you to be a part of. Flint Water Crisis 10 years commemoration. United, we challenge, expose, and confront. Public march with speakers Thursday, April the 25th, 2024, 11 a.m. Meeting up at the People's Church of Flint, 503 Garland Street. The march will begin at 12 noon to Flint City Hall. Those that are accountable and responsible, and what are they doing? But we're going to meet there to let our voices be heard, to let them know we are not satisfied. If you cannot make that march, you can ride, you can meet us down there, but we want you to show up. We need you to work with us, that we can make a difference. Together, we can bring change. We can't do it by ourselves. This didn't happen to just one person. It happened to all of us. And so we need you to show up on April the 25th. That's just the beginning. Solidarity Forum, Water War Zone Beyond Flint. That's Thursday, April the 25th, 2024, 6 to 8 p.m. UAW Local 659, 4549 Vance Lake Road. Guests include speakers from Genesee County Coalition for Clean Water, Detroit, Benton Harbor, Three Rivers, Highland Park. What do we all have in common? We've had problems. We're all from Michigan. And we gonna do this together. No man is an island. But together we gonna bring change. And I know you say, Bishop, they haven't done it in 10 years. And they did what they did so far because it was people like you and I working together, pushing them, demanding them to do something for us, our God-given right. Vigil, testimony, and healing ceremony, Friday, April the 26th, 2024, 6 p.m. to 8 p.m., the People's Church of Flint, 503 Garland Street. Bring pictures in honor of those who have lost their loved ones. Pictures, whatever you want to bring, posters, bring them. And then you can have your testimony. You can say what you want to say, how you feel, how you've been hurt, how you've been broken, how you've been left out. We invite you. We need you. We want you to come out on Friday evening. And then Saturday, Community Resource Fair and Legal Update. Saturday, April the 27th, 2024, 2 to 4 p.m. The Gloria Coles Flint Public Library, 1026 East Kersley Street. Resource tables and a presentation with updates on the Class Act lawsuit settlement and pipe replacements. We can't do everything and we can't answer all the questions, but we are working together to bring change, to bring answers, to bring healing. Have we been hurt and harmed? Yes. But there is a healing for us. We will not remain broken. And if we don't demand, if we don't work together, will change ever come. But together, we are so much better together. And I know lives have been lost. People have been hurt. But there is a healing for Flint, Michigan.
Well, thank you for those announcements, and you can go to the Claire McClinton Facebook page, or you can go to Democracy Defense League Facebook page, or you can go to Flint H2O Justice to get a copy of that flyer. And we would love for you to come out. You can go to the People's Church web page and get the flyer, so you can get all the information in case you didn't get to write that down. But each and every one of these events is intentionally planned to help raise and lift up the issues. And we do expect attorneys to be at the library. Now, they're not going to bring no checks, but we like to get some answers, at least, about where all of this stuff is at, so we can see if there's any other moves we need to make as it relate to that issue. So right now, today we decided to show the 1 year, and they call it a 1 year anniversary. And we're going to show some clips of the first year. This was from April 15, 2015. Show you some clippings from how community came together that day and that was sort of like a spark for the whole, I mean, the fight had been going on, but that 1 year anniversary kind of changed the tide, because then we began to learn more and more about lead and different things like that. Some of the things that's happened since then wasn't even thought about. So please watch, and we'll be right back.
What are you doing today?
Well, we're demonstrating for the first year anniversary of being switched over to the Flint River water. And the demonstration is to hopefully to let the powers that be, our leaders in the political field, understand that our water is not any good. And we deserve, and we're wanting, and we're fighting for clean water. We just want simple water that we can drink and that is suitable for the human body, and we want to be able to take a good, clean, healthy bath in, and we want to be able to pay for the water as well. So hopefully this demonstration will let them understand, will help them understand that we too are human beings, and we too want and deserve good, clean, healthy water.
So when you say that the water is not safe, it sounds like that's kind of what you're saying. Why is it not safe? What is happening that's making you worry about the quality of the water?
Well, the TTHM level is one thing, which is a byproduct from chlorine.
Byproduct from what?
From chlorine.
Oh.
Yeah, and we're hoping that they got the water together. They're saying that they do, but it's kind of hard to believe that they have it together, because when we look at their track record, they have a history of lying. When we first found out about the TTHMs in January, we also found out that we had TTHMs in our water from the beginning, which was last year at this time. We had TTHMs in our water then, and we had it all the way up until January, and they never even let us know we had the TTHMs in our water until January.
What happens when you have too much would you say
TTHMs? It can cause various different health issues, such as cancer, kidney disease, liver disease, and brain damage, along with a few other diseases. It also is when you take a shower in it, and the heat of it from the hot water, it causes it to form into like a gas bubble. And it's harder on you when you breathe it in than it is for you to drink it, actually. Either way, it could do your body damage.
And then do you know anybody that thinks that they are sick as a result of the water?
Yes, I do. I myself have had rashes on my body from the water, which is not a rash. It's called a chemical burn. On my left side, under my right breast, and in my abdomen area. I know people hair that's been falling out. I know people that is having kidney and liver problems.
Okay. And then what about the cost of the water? Have you seen a drop in your water prices since they spent, what was it, over $1 million to trade? Did they spend over $1 million to change that to river water? Is that what I heard?
They actually haven't given us a price. We've been asking how much it was, and we've been asking how much cheaper it is to be with the Flint River water versus being with Detroit water, and no one has given us an answer. Even our city council members have said they too haven't been able to find out how much cheaper
who's
the water
writing
is.
the check?
I guess Ambrose. I'm not sure on that.
Well, who?
Our emergency manager, Jerry Ambrose.
You think that, so he kind of is the one that you feel arranged? I mean, maybe they had to have some kind of a system where they took bids to do this work, because from what I understand, I was told it was a really simple thing of just putting a pipe in the water and somehow pumping it into the same pipes that you use for your drinking water.
Well, that's what we were told, that it was going to be changed over to the Flint River water. Pretty much it's just going from one pipeline to the other, from Detroit to Flint City.
Right.
That's pretty much, as far as we know, that's what happened. But they wanted to, I guess, I really can't answer that question.
I'd like to know. I'm curious because what I saw in the Flint Journal is it said that to change it back to Detroit water would cost over $1 million. So that's why I'm thinking it must have cost that much to change it too.
I don't think it's gonna cost over $1 million to go back to Detroit. That's what the emergency manager is saying, that it would cost us over $1 million per month to go back to Detroit. But to be perfectly honest, I don't see how that could possibly be, because all the other counties that surround Flint, there are quite a few of them that are with Detroit water, and their water is not that high. So to me, if they're going to charge another county around us a cheaper price, then that just don't make moral sense to me for them to raise it up even higher for us here. And then on top of that, with Flint being, when we were with Detroit, we were their largest customer. Why would they want to raise our price up to the point where they would lose our business? It just don't make common sense to me. We were your largest we were the largest city that they had. They was getting more money from our city than it was anybody else. It don't make sense to me as to why they would raise the price to a point where we would say, no, we don't want to be dealing with Detroit anymore. That just don't make sense to me.
Well,
why would you get rid of your biggest money, your biggest asset? That's just it's not understandable.
And I'll tell you, I know for a fact, because I have a house in the suburb and I have one in the city. And the city bill for the exact same water a year ago, before they made the change, was 1/3 of what the city bill was. And it was the same water.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I don't think you guys realize how much you're paying for your water.
Well,
I don't think you realize it.
We know that we're paying at least 3 times the amount
it
that
is
anyone
3 times.
is.
Yeah.
All the other surrounding counties, they pay their bill once every 3 months.
Right.
And then
that bill is about the same as a 1-month bill.
Actually, I think your 3-month bill is probably cheaper than our 1-month bill. To be perfectly honest, my bill, when it was just for me and my son, and he goes to work at 7 in the morning. He leaves out the door at 7 in the morning. He comes back in anywhere from 9 to 11 at night, usually around 11. And the bill was running anywhere from $216 to $226 per month.
Oh my God!
And it was pretty much just me at home.
Is that before they made the change?
No, since they made the change.
So lately your bill has been that high.
Since it's been like this all year, last year and this year.
And have you seen a change in your bill since they changed to the river water?
It went up. It went up drastically.
Yeah.
Drastically.
Yeah.
I mean, that's when my bill began to escalate. It's when they were deciding to switch over to the river water. I'm glad you brought that up, because 2 months ago, my water bill jumped. It dropped from $226, and it's pretty much on the penny every month, like $226.16 every month, perfectly. summer and winter. To me, I don't understand how that could be. Everybody know we use more water in the summer than we do in the winter, but the bill is the same price year round. 2 months ago, my daughter and her 2 children moved in with me. She moved back here to Flint. They had to come stay with me for a while, and they're still there. And then my son and his wife, they were there with me. So it was 7 people. Last month, the month before, and this month, my bill dropped from $226 to $162. Then my bill this month was $91. I came and made an inquiry about that. How is it that my bill dropped to $162 from $226 to $162 with 7 people in my house, and then the following month is down to $91 or $92. I'm not understanding how that could be from 2 people to 7 people, and then the water bill is cheaper. But then when I came and made an inquiry about it, they raised it back up. So my bill for next month is back to $220. I think it's $227 for next month. So I'm not understanding that either.
Well, that is really interesting. So do you think, how do you feel about the emergency manager? I mean, do you think that there's something fishy going on with Flint since we've been taken over by the emergency manager? Do you think there's other fishy things?
I'm pretty sure everyone should see that. It's all blatant. They come in, they send emergency managers in, they sell off all of our assets.
Yes, including the Genesee Towers.
Yes, that we just finished
for
paying
$1.
For $1
after it was demolished. I don't know how many thousands they paid to have it demolished to sell it for $1.
But wasn't it the city that demolished the building? It wasn't the people that bought it.
It still had a price tag. Somebody was getting paid for demolishing it.
The citizens.
Everyone in the city of Flint paid $200 on their home taxes.
And that was to destroy it. So they sold it for $1.
Yeah.
Then the citizens still had to pay $200 to $1 million, and we still had to pay $200 per person that have jobs, that have to pay taxes. And
do you ever think
to demolish it, and they sold it for $1. Then you got a couple of senior citizens buildings along with the parks beside them were sold for $1. I mean, any asset that was of any value is gone. Our last asset that have any value is our water. And to be perfectly honest about it, I think this KWA is a scam too. They say they came to help us, but I believe they came to take our water.
Tell them about
period. I really think that in the end, the KWA is going to be the ruler over our source of water. We won't have control of our water anymore.
True. Tell her when the pipeline comes, we're still going to be drinking some Flint River water because it's not going to be able to supply the Genesee County.
Come on up here. Come on.
Okay.
Hi, I'm with Water We Fighting For, and I know for a fact, because of research through Melissa Mistrue, that even when the pipeline gets here, they're still going to be feeding the people of Flint River water because the pipeline is not going to provide 100% of the city of Flint's water. So we're going to be drinking the Flint River still. And here's the water that came out of my sink.
Wow. Okay.
Okay.
I thought that was tea you were carrying around. I really did.
And not only that, but one of the big assets that the city of Flint people own still is the old farmers market. And keep your eye on the farmers market because they're going to sell that behind closed doors, away from the people's faces, because they're getting ready to probably sell that. Listen, that's so close to the college. That's so close to Social Security. That's so close to the post office. They've got big plans for the old farmers market. It belongs to the people of Flint still.
Yeah.
Like the water, the water is still belong to the people of Flint right now.
Right.
And well, as far as we know, but for the rate it's going, it really don't belong to us now. When it's over with, again, as I was saying, the KWA is going to be the took over the water.
The KWA. What does that stand for?
Cary Gandhi Water Authority.
Okay. Cool.
And they're in the business worldwide of what? Selling water.
And selling water, taking over companies and selling it.
Okay, so maybe
once
big
they take over the city of
corporations.
Flint, the Flint citizens won't have any say over water at all.
So it's sort of like, do you think sometimes you get the feeling in Flint, it's like a dead man take his boots?
Yes.
And that the
Definitely.
people, the wealthy people are coming in and
right.
raping the city of its
Yes,
assets.
they are. Yes, they are. And it comes straight from Lansing.
Yeah.
Permission.
That's what I think too.
So the
Yes.
the governor is the one who appoints the emergency mayors, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, it
And
just makes you
for the
wonder who's making
governor-
the money.
For the governor to say that he wasn't paying attention, I don't know if he really wanted us to believe that. I mean, you're the governor. You
Uh-huh.
are the city's overseer when it
Uh-huh.
comes to the politics. You know,
Uh-huh.
if we the citizens have to do the politicking ourselves, then why do we hire
That's right.
Yeah.
politics? Why do we pay a governor or a mayor or a city council or anything like that? Why would we pay for that if we can't get the job done?
Yeah.
You know, we're
He
sitting
has to
here.
say.
Our governor is giving away money for different things. To my understanding, they gave my college $4 million for something to do with criminal law. But yet they only give us $2 million for our infrastructure. But then they're still not to clear the water up. They saying this infrastructure is
For a clip, you saw two veteran water warriors, Sue Saunders and Miss Gladys Williamson. And so they were there at the beginning, and some of the things that they said are like at that time the farmers market had not been sold, but Gladys mentioned it and it eventually did get sold. The water rates has not changed. They talked about the high water rates in that video. And so it's just fascinating to watch 10 years ago. And actually, that would be 9 years ago, but it was 10 years since the switch and what they were talking about after the first year. And some of those same issues are alive and well now. Bishop.
Not only they're alive and well, but they're worse. And that is absurd that they're worse. They haven't gotten better. Well, we the judges did vote on us to get $5.40 million, which not one citizen, not one, have received a dime yet. Have we had any citizens to die? Yes. Are we still paying high water bills? Yes. Do we still have water we cannot drink? Yes. Are we still going to the store and buying water? Yes. Are those that are accountable? There has been any prosecution to those, because this is a man-made disaster. This was not something that happened because the pipe was open. It happened because of a man that decided that he wanted to take charge. He wanted to be the head man in charge with Public Act 4 or with Public Act 436. Take whichever you want to pick. But it's the emergency manager law. And the emergency manager law is a dictatorship, and it took away our rights and put a man in charge to make decisions for Michigan. And that's why if you look on the flyer, we're not the only ones that will be speaking out on the 26th or the 25th this month. 10 years later, and we still are broken. We still are hurting. We still have nobody. They act like it was our fault as citizens that we got poisoned. They call it a crisis. We call it a disaster. And if the governor had even said that we had a disaster after he messed up, we would be a lot further than we are now.
Well, now we're going to pick up at that 1 year demonstration in March that was held right here in Flint, 2015, April 25th. And we're going to pick up and watch some of the video from some of the speeches at the rally.
My friend Eric Mays and colleagues.
His Department of Environmental Quality, his Department of Health and Human Services, Inner Circle.
My friend and colleague Eric Mays would say, we know more now about water than Forrest Gump knew about shrimp.
Exactly.
More than we wanted to know, more
That's
than we
crazy.
wanted to experience, more than we wanted to learn. And we miss Eric already. Amen. He was a warrior. He fought. He stood up. He spoke out. He made a difference in our community. We miss Eric Mays. He was with us from the beginning. He stood and fought. Shoulder to shoulder, hand to hand, every time.
Fixed. So please see me for that. We just have a few questions for you. We are working hard with that right now. We are gathering as much research and information as possible. So the t-shirts are free. They're a way to say thank you for what are you fighting for coming out here and for standing up. It's been a year since we switched, so we want to know how you guys are feeling. If you have health problems, if your water's colored, if you have your water tested, please let us know so we can take this back to the legal group that is working on this. So we are hoping for a lot of changes. Let me know if I'm not loud enough. My name's Melissa, so please come find us. Find Trude, who has the fluoride. The petition right there. Oh, yeah, there she is. Look for Trude, who has the petition. And then come find me if you have any questions. Right now, we're going to yell at cars and try to get more people to join with us. And we also have some photographers and reporters, so feel free to express yourself how you feel.
There's one more thing she failed to say. Guys, we do not want to stop this today. This is the ongoing situation with this water. We need this every day. I know everybody works, everybody have a busy day every day. But guess what? Our body calls for water every day.
Amen.
We are paying a ridiculously high bill. We are paying for water we cannot drink. We are afraid to even bathe in.
Amen.
They're not cooking. Yes. Now, after today, we are still expecting this to go on. We need every citizen in Flint to take a stand on this. Whether it's out here protesting or writing a bill or law, whatever, we all need to be involved. Now, starting Monday, there would be someone out here every day at 4 o'clock.
Flint River last year disintegrated lily pads that never got a flower.
Hello? Okay, starting Monday, there would be someone out here every day at 4 o'clock. So we're asking that as many people as possible to come out every day. Now, if we have to take shifts, then let us do shifts. But this is a very important fact. People, to me, it's like it's not clicking. Your water required. It's not asking for it. It needs water. Now, if they take the water, what does that mean? We die.
We die.
We die. We like a plant. We need to be watered. So that means we have to get up every day. You have to fight for your life. You are literally in a fight for your life right now.
That's right.
Believe it or not. So we're expecting to see this every day. God bless, and let's go on with this fight and let's win. Let's not stop till it's over.
Had your water tested?
No, it's right there.
Please make sure that you do.
Yeah, keep going. No, sorry.
I didn't say stop it.
I'm sorry.
Lord have mercy.
Yes, I think so.
Why did it stop? Did it stop on its own?
97. The maximum is 15. People with these colored water are at a greater risk for having lead or copper in your water. Everybody needs to get it tested, but especially anybody with discolored water. Call the water department or call down here, talk to Mr. Croft, and get your water tested. Thank you.
White t-shirts. See the white t-shirts we got on? Those white t-shirts, Melissa, did you do the white t-shirts? What's the name of your group?
What are you fighting for?
What are you fighting for now? That's one group. Claire McClinton, Naira, the Democracy Defense League, that's another group. The Concerned Pastors, y'all ever heard of the Concerned Pastors in Flint? That's another group. You ever heard of Councilman Juantez Davis? That's a person. You ever heard of Councilman Mays? That's a person. So you ever heard of residents? Mr. Palladino said you ever heard of residents? Most residents, even Mr. Palladino, falls up under all of these groups. Whether it's water, you're fighting for it now, the Concerned Pastors, Defense Democracy League, a council person, we all trying to come together. Now this is where we're at now. It was a press conference a couple of weeks ago because people say we will march, we will protest. The Concerned Pastors went to Lansing on our behalf, 13 of them, and talked to the governor. Some of us voted on the council. We say we want good water yesterday. Turn the faucet, cut Detroit on, until they get the river water fixed. People been breaking out with rashes. It's been hair loss. It's really been some problems. And so we now have taken on an attorney or two. And so it's litigation fixing to be filed in the next 2 weeks. So y'all are not here today in vain. And I just wanted an opportunity to communicate because as we march, we litigate, we protest, and we will see how big it grows. The weather done broke now, ain't it? Hey. We was out here when it was cold, and Mr. Brockovich was here from, Mr. Bocat from Aaron Brockovich. So now that the weather done broke, we fixing the break. Is everybody ready for good water now? Yeah. When do we want good water? Now. How many of us want good water? Yeah. Do we represent the citizens of Flint? Yes. Are we together on this? Yes. Are we all together? Yes. No big eyes? No. No little you? No. When do we want good water? Now. What about yesterday? No. What about last month? No. We should have been and had good water. Yes. Do we want lower prices? Yes. We deserve lower prices. Yes. And now let me say this. Should we get a credit for the bad water we've already paid for? We deserve a credit for the bad water we already paid for. Who pays the highest price in Genesee County for water? Who got the worst water in Genesee County? So as I take my place and get off of this stump, let me say this. When do we want good water? Now! When do we deserve good water? Now! Have I talked too much? Let's not talk about that. Bless you, God bless you. We pray on our knees, and when we pray for change, we get change. God bless you. I feel like this is a universal issue. This is a universal issue, and I'm here because I believe, as you do, that even though the powers that be may not be listening to us, I believe that if we keep on talking, and if we keep on screaming, and if we keep on shouting, sooner or later something's going to happen. That's right. Do you believe that? Yeah. Sooner or later something is going to happen. Our thesis is simple. Our thesis has not changed. It will not change. We won't back up. We won't give up. We believe the citizens of Flint deserve the best, purest possible water source. And we believe that water ought to be affordable. Is that what we believe? Yes. And so we want everybody, as many people, sometimes people tell me, do you know anything about that voice? Do you know anything about that voice? I don't have to know. I hope as many as people who have a voice will lift that voice and say, let's fix this situation. And so let us continue to forge ahead. And I believe we have God on our side. If you believe that, give us a shout.
March. So line up.
Okay, so that was a 1 year since the water switched from the river. That was 2015, April 25th, and we heard from a couple of our water warriors that's no longer with us. Of course, everybody know Eric Mays no longer with us, and Tony Palladino, who was also a booming presence in all the events and rallies and stuff. He just stood out as a champion and a gladiator. Everybody knew when he was at something, and he did not back down. So we really missed in this 10 years those two individuals, but we also had some veterans that you've seen in the film. We had Leanne Walters, who many consider Leanne like the Rosa Parks of the water, the toxic water crisis. You had Melissa Mays. You had, of course, True Sanders. She was a fire fighter and a water defender. And who else did we have in the movie? Those were the main actors and actresses. And then, of course, we heard from Miss Williamson earlier on in the film, but that was an important step in trying to fight the situation, because at that time, and you heard Leanne Walters talk about lead, but lead had not skyrocketed into the scene at that early point, as it later became a big bone of contention. So we want to have, and in a nutshell, I think that we do see that some things have not changed. And we heard True Sanders talking about, and Gladys speak of the privatization of water, that they were trying to take over the water. And so that's an issue that we've been trying to pursue for 10 years as well. But the water rates, no change. The quality of the water, a little change. Compensation for the harm done to us, none, zero. Accountability on the actors, led by Governor Snyder, the accountability didn't happen. And that was sort of the last nail in the coffin as far as the water situation, because that was right close to Christmas time when the new Attorney General, Dana Nessel, who had came to Flint and told us they was going to do everything they could. Water was at the top of the list, and on and on and on. And Merry Christmas. The cases is closed. The cases is dead.
Not only that they were going to do everything, but they were going to prosecute. That somebody was going to be held accountable for what was done. That man-made disaster. And nobody was held accountable. One thing that I want to, Robert Williams, fighter in his own right, and that was a victim of the water crisis that early on in the hospital, legionnaires, they end up having his leg amputated. So his battle on the battlefield was from the phone, from his house, because he could no longer. He got out and rode and drove and did what he could, but he was so sick from the damage and the harm that was brought to him by the water crisis. We have so many veterans, so many warriors that were a casualty of war. That brings my heart to tears and make me fight even more. As I was watching the 1 year, and I thought about we gonna march and I'm not tired yet. And I said, wait, I am tired. I'm sick and tired of what they are doing. I am sick and tired of people getting by. I am sick and tired that they're trying to put the blame on us. I am sick and tired. And when you get sick and tired, something has to happen. And so something has to happen. Change has to come. We are a victim of circumstances and situations, but we will not take it lying down. Yeah, I'm tired of marching, but I ain't going to stop marching. I'm not going to stop speaking. I'm not going to stop fighting. I'm going to fight as long as I got breath in my body until victory comes for us.
All right. On that note, let's set the stage for our final news clip. And we're going to see a clip of another warrior, not just water warrior, but a warrior in Congress, Elijah Cummings. And he was such an inspiration to many of us, even though he didn't represent our area. He came from Baltimore. And so he was on the oversight committee there in Washington, and he did some grilling of about Governor Snyder.
And he came to Flint. He came to Flint and to speak out and to show his support. And so we acknowledge that he not only stood in his place of power and authority, but he took his power and authority and brought it right here. He came and spoke out.
Well, we're going to use him as an example right now because we're in an election year, and he's gone, but his spirit is still here. But it's up to us to put the right people in there. A lot of them came here, but it's up to the no matter who it is, the people have the final say. We got the final say. If we lucky and get leaders like Elijah Cummings, we'll be lucky to have them. But now it's after 10 years, and after they slam the door in our face with no prosecution, it is time for us to ratchet up our game. And with elections coming up this year, we have to put together a slate, not of people, a slate of issues, and put those issues in all these candidates' face. And we are not partial to Republicans or Democrats. All of them who come and say they want to represent us have to be held to what we want. These are the things that we need after 10 years, and we're going to have to up the ante and fighting for it. So let's show Congressman Cummings. Who said he didn't care who it was.
The governor put in charge of Flint. There will now be an entire generation of children who suffer from brain damage, learning disabilities, and many other horrible effects of lead poisoning that were inflicted on them by Governor Snyder's administration. There'll be many children, Mr. Chairman, who will sit in the second and third grade and will not be able to read the words "see, spot, run," and won't know why. But the reason why is because there's lead in their veins. Now, Republicans Republicans are desperately trying to blame everything on the EPA. So let me say this. I agree that the EPA should have done more. They should have rushed in sooner to rescue the people of Michigan from Governor Snyder's vindictive administration and his utter incompetence at every level. Governor Snyder's administration had primary responsibility for enforcement under the Safe Drinking Water Act, not the EPA. Governor Snyder's administration chose to switch to the Flint River for a source of water, not the EPA. Governor Snyder's administration ignored warnings from the Flint Water Treatment Plant supervisor not to go forward with the switch, not the EPA. Governor Snyder's administration falsely told the city of Flint that corrosion control was unnecessary, not the EPA. Governor Snyder's administration delayed corrosion control for months and harmed thousands of additional people in the process, not the EPA. Governor Snyder's administration overruled the Flint City Council's vote to return to clean Detroit water, not the EPA, as I close. So yes, I agree. The EPA should have snatched control out of Governor Snyder's hands even sooner than they did. But Governor Snyder's administration caused this horrific disaster and poisoned the children of Flint. On the governor's website, his motto is, and I quote, reinventing Michigan, getting it right, getting it done, end of quote. It's hard to imagine a more misleading slogan. It also says this, and I quote, we will learn from this experience, end of quote. And so, as I said earlier in the other hearing, these children, when we're dead and gone, these children will suffer for what we failed to do. And so, Mr. Chairman, as I've said to you before, we have to be the last line of defense. We have to be it, because generations yet unborn will suffer. But we've got to do everything in our power to mitigate that. I look forward to the hearing, and I yield.
Representative Cummings gave that speech, and he set it up to try to hold Snyder accountable. Unfortunately, our Attorney General and our governor did not hold him accountable. So we're gonna have to step up our game. We're gonna have to accelerate and raise the bar. What we've done in the past had some positive effect, but it's not enough. So one of the things we can start is joining us for the 10-year. It's time for us to rebuild broken relationships. It's time for us to sit down and have a strategy. And, you know, they say politicians run for office, they tell you what you want to hear. They're not going to tell us what we want to hear. We going to tell them what we want them to do and what they better do. We got to up our game. So we're going to leave it right there. We might come back to you next week with some more clippings. Sometimes looking at these clippings from the past give you a little bit of energy and inspiration for the next rounds of battle. Bishop, you want to close?
I just want to say that we're so much better together. Claire said heal relationships. We have to forgive and come together. It was by design that they tried to separate and divide us. We're not going to fall into the trap. We're going to forgive one another. We all have made mistakes along the way. When hurting people hurt people. It wasn't intentional, but we have to come together so that we can advance and go forward.
And thank you, and hope you join us again soon for another conversation with Democracy Defense League. Thank you to Fli-City Blackout and their team and their producers, who I get on their nerves, but they stick with us. Thank you.
Thank you.
So
Appreciate it.
Is it ended? You done cut off?
Yeah.